So fast forward to, you know, you did tribal fusion, you tried these different experiments, you built up a network, and everyone who's in music in Karachi pretty much knows about you or has worked with you. Um, at what point did you realize that you have to create a space like Club 432?
Right. So,
And how long did it take you to find the right spot?
yeah. So, I mean, so after Tribal Fusion, what I did was I started managing Sounds of Kolachi, right? So my new SN from Gravity, जो उसका band होता था, you know, since our Rockfest days, you know. So I just reached out to him. I went to one of his shows and I told him, यार ये अच्छी चीज़ कर रहे हो तुम, you know, are you thinking about marketing it and you know and stuff like that? And he's like, अच्छा करो बताओ क्या करना है. So I just started helping him out with promotion and like managing and stuff, and eventually became their manager. So and I wanted to move away from Tribal Fusion because it was becoming more about the drugs and less about the music, you know.
Right.
So I started managing Sounds of Kolachi, which took me into another dimension of the industry. You know, actual live music and touring and recording and concerts and things like that. And then I also started doing more of my shows in different venues. I started doing comedy shows with Danish Ali. And you know, Faraz Anwar ka concert हमने अलग से कराया था Roller Dell पे. इस तरह so I started doing like a bunch of shows in different venues, right? And the thing is, there's so much red tape if you want to pull off an event in Pakistan.
Yeah.
You know, and fine, if I'm like a promoter or a manager, I will do that work, you know. But if it's just an artist who wants to do a show, it's
almost a great
impossible.
barrier to entry.
Yeah.
It's a massive barrier.
Like, how
and
do
you
they
can
do it?
but it's a lot of cup and you know, it's,
and then
mental torture.
And then who plays the music then after that, you know?
Yeah.
So the idea of this place was of Club 432 is, what if we take that red tape away? What if we take all of that barrier to entry away? What if an artist can just walk into this door and say, I want to do a show, and it happens?
That's amazing. And that's pretty much what it is now.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is.
So, I mean, and it's a culmination of everything I've been doing for 15 years, like I said. You know, it's an event space. We've started delving into production a little bit. It's... you know, a few people.
You've also shot a film there.
We've shot a film there. That's a story and a half. You know, the pandemic hit us really bad.
Yeah.
So I feel we're like restarting now.
Yeah.
So it's almost 3 years now. November में 3 साल हो जाएंगे.
Amazing.
But like 1.5 साल उसके तो.
But I think it's just starting to hit its.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit its
अब
stride
जाके
now.
थोड़ा like it's somewhere, you know. I feel.
Yeah. I mean, just last weekend we had the Experience Beatles gig.
Oh, what a show!
And it was the best show I've seen there.
Yeah.
Obviously, that big part of that is we had some of the best musicians.
Yeah.
But obviously, taking a, you know, act like the Beatles, it attracted surprisingly a nice cross section of people.
Yeah.
I thought it might be a bit older crowd, but it was a nice cross section. Crowd.
It was a really good crowd. Everyone was into it. They all knew the songs. Even it wasn't like, you
and
know,
having the stage in the center of the venue was the
like,
right move.
That's the spot for the stage now.
Yeah,
because like everyone's all around you.
Yeah,
and it opens up the space so much. It also means everyone is close to the stage.
It also means that from any point you have a decent view. You know, it's not like you're in the back or you're close or it's too loud.
And no one's really hidden from you. You can just walk around and look at the guy you want to look at. You know.
Yeah. And also the band kind of facing each other meant that you could get a almost front kind of view from any point, you know. So that was really good. But now, I mean, we've both been in this scene of trying to engage artists and trying to make them do things, like from my perspective, trying to get them to record albums, trying to get them to get over their insecurities and like be like, you know, it's fine, it's good enough, now just record it, you know. What do you think, you know, what kind of things are missing still in our ecosystem that is preventing the things that we're trying to do from really hitting a wider audience and the mainstream, so to speak, because we still have very niche kind of markets for Aleph and for Club 432. But at the same time, anyone who comes to our events seems to really enjoy them.
Yeah, that's true. It's always
so it's
a
not like
response.
it's only for a certain kind of person.
Yeah,
it's for all kinds of people. But it's not reaching all kinds of people somehow.
I guess, and also no one is turned away. Whoever has an idea can just walk in.
Yeah, and also the idea that everyone has some creativity in them. I think a lot of people who come to your shows or come to Jummah jams here and stuff, who may not necessarily be musicians, they realize that maybe they want to try picking up an instrument.
That's the best thing about the Jummah jams.
Yeah.
That everybody can play.
Yeah, there's no barrier, like you don't have to have any experience. You can just walk up to the mic and just blurt out
and
whatever.
I remember how like Jambro was like the template for this kind of like music playing, the jams.
Yeah, this is the continuation in spirit
and,
of that.
Even before Jambro, there is what we call the Faisal Gill School of Music.
Yeah.
I think he laid the foundation for like improv music in Pakistan. Like Jasir Aziz log ko nahi sikhaya jam karna, and
yeah, we really need to get him down.
Yeah, he needs to come down for this. What a guy, man! What a beautiful guy.
Yeah, I met him at your house, the preceding house to Club 432, and then one day he just like we jammed there. I guess he understood my vibe. I understood his. Although a lot of people don't understand his vibe. But one day he was just like, I'm going to the school, unko main kuch music dikha raha hu, so you want to come with me? I was like, sure. Just just off the cuff, just showed up with him at a school, and I went with my guitar and we jammed a bit for the students. And then I visited him at Kappa, and I saw a bunch of cellos there, and I really liked. I've always loved the sound of a cello, and I just tried one, and I really liked it. The next thing I know, he gifted me a cello.
Yeah, that's the thing about him, man. If he'll give you an instrument if he sees that you're playing it.
Yeah.
He's
I need to do justice to that cello. But yeah, I mean, there's been people like Faisal Gill and others that have encouraged, and people like Umran who being at the top of the industry, playing with Ali Azmat, playing on Coke Studio, etc., who just came into our jams and our scenes without having to chase him or anything like that. I think that's what really helped us to have more confidence as well.
I mean, I guess if we think about your question then maybe that is what's
it's the missing thing. There's more openness,
willingness to connect
from all the top down, so to speak.
I mean, okay, if I really think about it, would the audience at this last Saturday's gig, would they have been okay if I had kept it open for everybody?
Right, as in open entry.
Yeah, for example, where there was no...
Probably
the
not.
ticket price was 200 maybe.
Probably not. Probably a lot of people wouldn't show up just for that reason. Probably a lot of people came because it was 3,000 rupees.
Yeah, maybe.
So there is
the divide is there, the divide, and it's something I don't agree with.
There is a massive divide. I think we can talk about that a bit. Like, even I feel sometimes guilty of this. My space is in defense. Your space is also in defense. Clifton kind of cusp. But what about the rest of this huge city? Like 90% of the city is outside of defense in Clifton. I don't know if there's places where people can go and jam. I haven't really explored, and I feel guilty that that connect doesn't seem to happen. And I don't know what we need to do to make it happen.
I mean, so I guess more than geographical, it's
socioeconomic.
It's a social divide, right? It's just I mean, we are a pretty like polarized country.
Yeah.
If you think about it, there's a very lucky few percent, maybe not even a few percent, maybe a lucky percent.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it like Maslow's hierarchy. Most people have the basics to worry about, and they can't be bothered or have the time to be creative or think about enjoying themselves with music. But like Bari was here, SN Bari was here a few days ago.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like Arts Council does a lot of interesting things.
Absolutely. Arts Council is doing good stuff. Napa is with the new leadership under Junaid.
For sure.
Saab is doing some good stuff. But like Bari was mentioning, there's still places within Karachi where you can't even think of having a musical event because there's like a Talibanization in those pockets, right?
Karachi University itself.
Yeah.
Sponsored nahi ho sakta.
That's just ridiculous. It's unfathomable.
Your primary university.
Yeah. I mean, again, Mad School and Hamza Jafri has done some good work.
Yeah, they're doing those
building music
there.
societies in certain universities like KU and certain others. Uski wajah se, like, because of that, I had that all of them, got in touch with me, and all these students came to visit Aleph. And some of them now come to the jams, they follow up, and they're involved in the scene. But again, there's just not enough of this kind of work or effort, because I think music, again, now you can talk about from the religious kind of thing, the understanding in certain segments gets completely a haram thing.
And there was like a thing recently, right? Was it Abdullah Siddiqui who
Abdullah
quit?
Qureshi.
Abdullah Qureshi who quit?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I just think, he may have the kind of music, let's be honest, that he was doing was very, because I'm very open and vocal about these things, and I am also a strong believer, and I do think that there's a kind of music which is self-serving, which is ego-serving, which is more for entertainment, that you can argue is in the haramish category. Maybe not completely, maybe completely, whatever your view is, it could vary, but you can argue for it in that category. But there's a kind of self-expression in music and creative energy and force that comes from dissolving your ego, trying to dissolve your ego. More along the Rumi and Iqbal philosophy of what creativity is. Trying to connect to the nature and the broader creation.
There has to be, right? Because like recitation is musical. Really
yes, the Quran, right? The Kirat is in a musical way, right? And Hazrat Bilal was known for having the most beautiful voice. And coming to our region, I make this point often, is like, if it weren't for the Sufis and the Qawwals who were spreading Islam through music primarily in a lot of eras in our past, we may not be Muslims today. So ये तो एक extreme हो गया ना कि बिल्कुल गलत है या सब सही है. So I think it's a process of refining ourselves as individuals, and understanding that music is a means to connect, to find your true self. Again, the Aleph concept comes from that as well. Like, music can be used like gangster rap, agar aap dekhen in the States. It can be used to spread questionable ideas and lifestyles, and it has a very strong impact in that sense. In this country, we've had, कवालियों पे लोग drunk हो रहे हैं for the last 20-30 years. जब से मैं देख रहा हूँ कवाली, तो ये बन गया है कवाली. That obviously gives plenty of ammunition to people who are of that mindset that it's a wrong thing. So I think as artists and musicians, it's also our own fault that we haven't owned our craft and set it on the right path, so to speak, to use. We haven't used it to spread the right ideas and ideals. We'll take the first opportunity to sell Coke, Pepsi, brand XYZ, because it's paying us, and our excuse is हमें वैसे पैसे नहीं बन रहे. As opposed to working hard on our, on spreading or building and the right image and spreading that, and then monetizing that. It's like people take the shortcuts, I guess, and then yahi phir ho raha hai.
Is Tajdar-e-Haram the most viewed Coke song ever? I think it is.
Potentially it is. Yeah.
So, but that just ironically, that might be like the best example of what you're talking about. You know?
Yeah, but then why is the bottle company being allowed to appropriate that and get the most views?
Yeah, for sure, I get that. But if there was a lot more of this quality of naat or hamd or whatever category it's supposed to be, it might just change people's perception. The extremists who कहते हैं कि haram hai music.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they don't get to hear anything they like.
Maybe in our spaces we should host Naat Khanis and stuff like that as well, just to balance it out. Because we are obviously triggered by that mindset, but at the same time, I don't think we ourselves are doing enough to integrate those people and invite them into the fold, so to speak.
I mean, I guess it's because that's another kind of divide. There's the social divide, and then there's this emotional divide where and I say this as a Pakistani, and it's a societal thing because I've been lucky enough to travel to a few places. It's an emotional divide where you are supposed to hate what you are not. Sort of, and we're very happy in conflict as a society.
I mean, I guess you could say it's we were born out of conflict as a country.
Born out of conflict.
So we're still, in different ways, we're still reliving that trauma in the general psyche of this country.
Yeah. So, I mean, so if anything, if I would want to change, I would start with that. The emotional divide. If everyone, and it's an impossible thing. If everyone just got rid of this emotion of hate.
I mean, I guess you can hope for everyone, but you can start with yourself, you can start with little events that you have, which promote that kind of mindset.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's definitely what needs to happen. People just need to.
Accessibility to
stop hating
entertainment
each other,
as well.
And just understand that because there's a basic fact of life. There's a few basic facts of life that I live by. Number 2 is that everybody thinks they're doing the right thing, right? So you also have to understand that the person you're hating, they think they're right, right? So in their heart, they're pure.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think not everyone. I think some people know that they're doing the wrong thing, and they've just kind of settled with that lifestyle. But for a lot of people,
so then you can try to get to that point with them.
Yeah.
You try to understand why do you think you're right, but I and the rest of us know that you're wrong. Maybe that's the approach to curing somebody of hatred. Because they will hate you and they will think they're right for it.
I mean, ironically, by the other end of it, I think it's also very, very important for individuals in this modern age of cancel culture and all this to just be confident in who you are and what you think and not give an F about what anyone else thinks. So they both are important, but at the same time you have to, so it's ultimately I think your own mirror system which you have with yourself of looking at yourself and evaluating whether you've done the right thing or wrong thing, that has to be strong. So how do you make sure that thing is built in people? So that's a very difficult thing because our schooling system is not doing it. Our schooling system is rather creating more divides. The haves and have-nots, the best grades go to KGS, the best of KGS goes abroad, everyone else baad mein jaye. So it's how do you start from the grassroots? I think a lot more work has to be done with children, to expose children to children from other socioeconomic backgrounds, because what typically happens is you go to a school with your own kind of set of similar background people or
private schooling versus government schooling, man.
Yeah, I mean, government school has failed, right? So we can't fix the government system.
There's no such thing, you know.
No, we can't fix the government system. Or what can we do? You know, I think, for example, me and you could have more events just for children.
Just for kids, yeah. Free events for kids, man.
Yeah, free events for kids, or even paid events for like let the parents pay.
Yeah.
But some things have to be sustainable.
But maybe also for kids who can't afford to buy tickets to anything, you know.
Yeah, like
maybe
some
free
instrument giveaway system. Like if you're not using an instrument, have a means of like.
Yeah, I've been thinking about something like this. You know, because. Like, you know, a few people teach music at the Club Irfan Singh Rabab these days, or salons, doing guitar and stuff. So I was thinking, why don't, like, we should have music classes, but for people who definitely cannot afford them, and people who definitely would not have taken a music class in their life. You know, because if you unlock that bit of artistry in a child's mind, then maybe they can go somewhere where they aren't already headed.
It doesn't even have to be music. Just could be just like recitation or poetry.
I read an interview. Miftah Ismail, this guy, the finance guy, na. अभी वो हबीब पे कल परसों गया हुआ था. Habib University. वहाँ पे they were having like a interview and stuff. And he said this thing, you know, what chance does this random guy's son have against my son in this country? Can they get to the same place?
Yeah.
He's like, no, because my son is so privileged and everyone else isn't. So, and you know, I was thinking about that. How do you can't really cure that unless you give everyone a private school level schooling, right? So what else can you do? Try to unlock other parts of their minds that they won't use.
Yeah.
You know?
Or, I mean, like, for example, everyone has a smartphone now, right? And even me, even though we're from a slightly older generation, but most of the guitar I know is from watching videos
YouTube,
online, right? And some of which is from jamming with people initially. And then later when I found this community of people, now it's mostly through jamming that I learned. But and my own further education, like I consider my college degree like garbage. I didn't learn anything in college. But what I learned is after college and after, you know, turning my back to my first career in banking, I just explored the depths of the internet and went into every topic and taught myself so much, whether it's production or about history of the world or about history of Islam or other religions and, you know, hidden histories as well. Things that will not be printed in your school textbooks, right? For reasons, and then you find out why wouldn't they be printed.
Hidden histories.
Yeah, the agendas behind everything, right? But the point is that the internet, despite its attempts to now censor information and put it into boxes and all that, it's still the most powerful tool for learning that there's ever been in known history, right? And so, again, part of this podcast and us talking about all this stuff for the audiences, for people to know how things came about and that they can also make their own things come about, you know? And there needs to be more of that empowering kind of content to help children and teenagers and young adults understand that there isn't these set paths, so you don't have to be a doctor or engineer or banker. You can be these other things. And how do you get to be these other things, right? And we didn't get a class on how to make an Aleph or how to run Club 432. We figured it out through our trial and error, right? So I think it's really about opening ourselves up to share and to kind of mentor and cater and help promote young people and people with ideas. But yeah, so let's talk about something that happened recently. Like there was an event at 432 and a girl was apparently groped or harassed by a foreigner, let's say, right? And And so you have just provided the space, right? But in the aftermath of this, there's been a movement to kind of cancel your venue.
Cancel club.
And I can relate to that because there's similar things have happened in terms of people trying to cancel Aleph and cancelling people that go to Juma jams. Like a couple of people have come to Juma jam, been disturbed, and they've been like, we were sitting with friends and we were coming here and they're like, Aleph ja rahe ho, udhar to वो बंदा पागल है और अब उधर जाओगे तो हम तुझसे दोस्ती बंद कर देंगे. Like, what is this mindset and how do you deal with that?
So I mean, you remember I was really worried about this when it happened, you know, like the whole cancel thing, just to, if you want to recap the actual incident, without naming anyone, just respect that, I mean, so again, I'd rented the space to somebody, and they had invited their own sponsors, their own guests. They had a list and everything, and I was also shooting the video for them and everything. And and then an incident happened, which was not reported to me, right? Which was reported to the organizer, and the organizer, told me that it wasn't true, it didn't happen.
Right.
And that was that. And then a few months later, the statement changes based on video and stuff, which I'd given to them
at the time
as we shot it, because it was on their drive the whole time. So when this perspective did change, I was very hesitant to take it up, because I was like, okay, such a polar shift. What do I believe here? If something really did happen, maybe somebody should report it to me directly, and we can have a conversation about it. But regardless of that, I rented the space to somebody. There was an issue internally, not reported to me. And then this cancel thing is happening because I didn't make a public statement about it against the third party. And I mean, again, no one reported it to me. What do I make a statement about, with what knowledge? Right? So all that was happening, and then again, we had agreed to, it was a private event. We had agreed not to make it a public thing and all of that, and everyone was respectful of that. But there was another person who didn't want to follow that and started commenting on the posts, and then that became like a whole cancel thing. And I did find out that a lot of people didn't come to कौन सा Maria वाला show था, I think, because of that thing.
What's ironic is the event where this thing apparently happened, I tried coming on that day, and on the door I was told that I'm not allowed to come.
You told me later
that I've been cancelled from this event. So matlab karma,
I remember you should have just told me.
No, but I was like, fine, if the person who's having the event doesn't like me, or for whatever reason, for my views.
So, I guess that just goes to show how much control they had on the event. So if anything, hello, khud hi dekh lo bhai. But anyway, the point is, when the whole cancel thing started for the club, like a month ago, so I was really worried about this, because I was like, I've been trying to build this place that is a safe place for everybody, and that is my main promise to everybody, factor, and main motivation, that this place is safe, for artists, for creators, and for anybody. There will be no discrimination here. There will be you're gonna be okay here. You just walk in and you're fine. Don't worry about it. Let's come up with a cool idea. That's all you need to be here. And the narrative that started going out was that this is a place that enables harassers, and it's a place
it's ridiculous.
That's all about money.
Yes, ridiculous.
That doesn't care about people, that doesn't care about rights and all of that. And their whole unka nara ye tha ki how dare you have an all women's show. So and I was really worried about this, because I thought people might think it's true.
Right.
And then where does everything that I've done, it just goes to waste and everything.
Yeah.
And that was my like initial impulsive reaction to it, and I was like really flailing around trying to figure out, kya respond karoon, who should I talk to try to like diffuse this or not. But and I actually spoke to like people who were at the event, not connected to the incident, and I felt a little better after talking to them. They were like, we don't feel this way.
Yeah.
And then we had a few events after that, and
they've been really successful.
They've been okay. People are still coming. People are. Nobody has ever complained of anything like that, and nor do they. And I just feel initially when I thought this was a big deal, it's sort of changed. I feel maybe it doesn't matter because the events are happening, people are coming, and people are still the place still exists.
Yes,
and the place has to still exist. That's the important thing.
The thing I've observed about these things is because being an outspoken person, I think at some point in my life I just decided that I saw so much fakeness on social media. People trying to be things that they're not, or trying to say things just to get in with the cool crowds, etc. I realized I just want to present myself as I am, and with my thoughts the way that they are. They may be right or wrong. Everyone's on a journey of discovering what's right and wrong.
Everybody thinks they're doing the right thing. Right?
Yeah, but I don't want to represent something which I'm not.
Exactly.
And so by being very open and with the range of topics that I have views on, people just started making assumptions and making a image of me in their head, which is not who I am. Like I met someone at the Beatles show who was saying, "Oh wow, you're at the show, but you made a post saying that you don't support the Beatles." Like the Beatles themselves, if you want to talk about it, they had very questionable kind of agendas running with the producers and people they were associated with, but they may have been greatly talented musicians. But now with Me Too and stuff, cheezein khul rahi hain, like a lot of these people were in abusive relationships, took advantage of young girls that were into them, and all kinds of messed up things. But the fact is that if someone boxes you in, okay, this person like made this post, so he'll never come to anything Beatles related. But so that's not.
I mean, just the judge, jury, executioner concept of cancel culture.
Yeah.
It's the thing is, I found it very ridiculous when it happened.
Yeah.
I was like, this person sitting in their living room is making a statement that they're so sure about.
Yeah.
And I know this the person who made the statement. It wasn't the organizer. It was another person.
Yeah.
Who was a very nice girl, man. Like she learned drums at the club for free. By the way, I didn't get paid for that.
Yeah.
This person who's going around saying I'm all about money. She used the club several times for free.
Yeah.
And I thought we were okay with each other, so I texted her alag se, dude, really? And then she started sending me texts from the organizer. So that told me that this is just a transmission channel,
Yeah, and it's like so sad because like again, few weeks ago someone was coming to my Juma Jam here, and they were sitting with a bunch of creative people, artists, musicians, etc. And when they said in that group that they're coming here to Aleph, they're like, we're gonna cancel you. But then this friend who came here asked them, have you ever met Umair? Have you ever been to Aleph? And none of them had been here. None of them have actually met me. So this.
Man, what a power trip! We're gonna cancel you. Bas kar denge because we can.
But the thing is, again, coming back to the point, is it doesn't matter. People will always think some bullshit, especially if you're doing or trying to do things different. People will, for whatever reason, jealousy, insecurity, it could be whatever. But you still have to do what you think is right.
For sure. Initially, my thought was that the club's track record speaks for itself.
Yeah.
All the things they're saying, they're just not true. Instagram खोल के देख लो, club का सारे जवाब मिल जाएंगे.
Yeah.
सब कुछ पड़ा है वहाँ पे.
Yeah.
but I was still worried about like why even this one person is thinking this. I was worried about that. You know, maybe that's a personal problem I have. You know.
Yeah, and I've been in that position. Like, you know, I've had people who've come and stayed here for days, weeks, even, and then out in the public they're going and saying XYZ, he has this issue, he has that issue, whatever. And like, if you had these issues with me, then you could have talked to me about them rather than you know, just behind my back airing them all out. But here people will be people, and we have to do our thing.
But yeah, I guess. But now, after these last couple of shows, I have understood that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, it still matters to me that this person thinks this way, and I want to change their mind.
Yeah. It's a motivating factor, if anything.
But I feel in the grander scheme of things, it didn't matter because we're still going, we're still here to help people. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I still want to, I want to know why. And I want to change their mind, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, that comes from the goodness of your heart. But like, I think just to close, I think this is just about, you know, our spaces are there for people to come and explore and ultimately explore themselves. So, you know, this is again an open invitation. If you are one of those people that thinks something about us, come and see us.
Let's have a conversation, man. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
But yeah, at the end of the day, we're here to try and help everyone around in this society to come together and grow together. So hopefully we can provide that opportunity for more people. But yeah. But please share, like, subscribe, follow, be at 432 on Instagram, follow the YouTube channel, and check out events happening there, and follow A for Aleph as well, and we'll see you next time.